What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Candid Capture Racing Podcast. Today we've got Aliyah Stephens and Chastity Caudell. So I'm going to start out, just kind of want to get a little background on each of y'all. So Aliyah, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with the basics. My name's Aliyah. I just turned 22 last week. I've been born and raised in Georgia. My dad started out as an asphalt driver when I was little. So I grew up watching him race, and my grandparents raced on both sides. My mom actually raced for a little bit in trucks. When my little brother was born, they kind of quit everything. And then it wasn't until about 3 or 4 years ago, we went to watch a race at Tacoma. And next thing I knew, Dad had like 2 trucks, and then he had 2 late models, and then we had an open wheel modified, and then we had a few front wheel drive cars. So over the past 3 or 4 years, needless to say, everything's kind of been about dirt track racing. He's fell in love with it. I've fallen in love with it. I've made so many great friends and people and so many opportunities that I never could have imagined myself being where I am now if it wouldn't have been for dirt track racing.
That's awesome. So, I got just about every class.
Yeah.
So, Chastity?
Okay, so I'm not going to tell my age, but I've been around racing since I was probably born. My dad raced. He bought all Charles Head's stuff when he got out of it and started announcing. And then we went to go-karts, and I literally was Daddy's right-hand person with go-karts. He raced the national circuit, until I was preteen, I guess. And then his back got real bad, so he couldn't race no more. Yeah. But I've been around. I even raced go-karts twice until he found out he didn't like it too well. But yeah, I've always loved dirt cars. Like I said, I'm friends with Casey Roberts, Smokey Roberts, grew up around all them. But it's just kind of, I kind of stayed away for a little while once I had kids, and then got back to the dirt cars, and it's always been my passion. And then taking photos is definitely a passion of mine. So kind of mixing them together, and I just like to give people back, those memories that they don't see while they're busy doing that kind of thing. So that's the biggest thing. And like Leah said, I've met a lot of people, made a lot of connections. Of course, like I said, I knew Charles, but Aaliyah's helped introduce me to some people too. My designer, which they are great people. After Hours Designs.
Daniel Thomas and Tacoma.
Yes, they're great. Him and his wife both are. And then I've met some of the people with the series. Like I said, I've met Tommy Chapman with BP Racing. Just, you meet a lot of good people. You make a lot of great friends. So
oh, yeah, you do. That's one thing about dirt track racing that I've loved so far since I've been in it is you become a part of the family really quick, and it's a tight-knit community. Yeah. It's great. You might fight every week, but they make up.
I do.
So I want to kind of talk about, for those of you who don't know, Aliyah owns an apparel company. I kind of want to talk about that, get a little bit of background, and kind of how you started it and what came the idea of Octane.
Okay. So I started it last summer with a friend of mine. It's kind of funny because we had both just gotten out of relationships with drivers, and we kind of wanted to do our own thing and, leave our own little mark in the racing world, I guess you could say. And, Sweet Victory's always been around. I love Jenna, love her stuff. But you just don't see a lot of companies out there like that have generic, racing shirts. Most of them are for drivers or certain tracks. So we kind of wanted to branch out and do something of our own, more kind of tailored to the girly side, I guess you could say, but also kind of appeal to the men and everything. So we kind of bounced ideas back and forth for about a month, tried to get everything lined up before we put anything out there. And honestly, the name, we went through so many names, and we had a whole list, and we just asked people. We were like, hey, what would you like to have on a shirt? Would you buy it if it said this or that? And so we kind of started our designs ourselves on just a simple editing app. And the more we did it, we kind of, made connections and was able to get some help with the graphics and everything. And we ended up splitting a little bit after that. So now it's just me. My dad helps me every now and then with his opinions, of course, but that's about it. So I haven't been able to get to the track as much recently this year with the apparel. I have another role at the racetrack nowadays, but I do online sales, and my goal right now is to build up my inventory. And I wasn't really going to say this, but my plan is to have more of a boutique style kind of store, and instead of more of like t-shirts and hats and everything, do like, I don't know what you would call it, like accessories and like things like that. So like, you know, earrings, bags, like dresses, skirts, shorts for girls, but also still have that side for men with just the t-shirts and the Richardson hats. So I kind of just want to expand the whole company and just grow, but I want to take the downtime while I have it to kind of do that. And then once I have everything lined up, then come back out with it. So that's why I've kind of been sitting back right now, just kind of building everything up, because I do it by myself. So
That's awesome.
it's a lot.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So how did you get into I know you said you've been around racing, so how exactly did you get the opportunity to become a track photographer?
Well, I was, let's see. I actually was, filling in. I started last year. Like I said, I just picked up a camera after my kids got grown and picked my camera back up and was just taking some pictures. Middies see me at Livonia just practicing. So I kind of went with them, and they was like, we need you up here at Cherokee with us. So I started doing a little bit here and there at the end of last year. And then the first of this year, I started over there, and I met another photographer and started kind of filling in for them at Cherokee. And as I filled in for them, it just kind of led into something else. And then they asked me to take over. So just kind of, just kind of fell there for me. And it's like a great opportunity is what I've been hoping and dreaming to do. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had done track photography for go-karts at one track when I started last year, but they had to shut down recently. So I didn't get to do that anymore. I've done, I partnered with another go-kart track and was doing that until this opportunity came along. So I will be back in the winter because all my go-karters are asking me to come back. And I told them, I said, well, winter months, I'll have y'all. So I'll be back with them. But it's a partnership with that one. Me and another girl, she confronted me and was like, hey, will you work with me? She said, I only like doing certain parts and you do the other part. Because there's so many aspects that you can get of the track. You can't cover, one person can't cover a whole track. There's no way. So, it just kind of fell out there and I took it. So
Have you enjoyed it so far?
I absolutely love it.
Well, that's awesome.
I love it. I mean, I've had several friends invite me to come watch when we're not, or one got canceled and go try. And I'm like, no, I just can't sit at a track anymore. I have to have my camera.
See, that's how I am. It kills me when if Tacoa's not racing one week and I go somewhere else, I'm just sitting there like that.
Yeah, it's no fun when you don't have your camera.
It isn't. That's why I finally started doing the action camera, so at least I'm still doing something. But yeah, it's. I know what you mean. You just want to be doing your thing.
Yes.
But I do want to talk about your other roles at the racetrack, Aliyah. So tell us a little bit about that and how that all started.
So I am people call it different things. Spokesmodel, the Victory Lane Girls, whatever you want to call it. So I work at Livonia Speedway, and then I also work at Cherokee Speedway. So I kind of go back and forth. It's hard to pick between the two because
that was going to be my next question. Which is your favorite?
You can't ask me that. Okay. I'll be completely honest, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I love Livonia, but hold on. So I love Livonia because that is where I first started going to the dirt track. That's where my dad started racing. Every Friday night we would be there, and then we would go to Toccoa Saturday. I've always loved it. I love Brad and everything, and it's closer to home. But just something about Cherokee, the environment is just so welcoming. Everybody there is so nice. You just feel like a part of a family. Even the crowd, like walking around, everyone wants to take pictures with you. They'll come up and talk to you. It really does kind of feel like home away from home. And
it's worth it.
It is worth the drive.
I haven't been to Cherokee.
You've got to.
A lot of people don't like to race there for some reason. They don't like the track. I can't say anything. I've never.
Well, I've heard that. I've heard a lot because I've tried to get some of the Georgia guys to come on over there. But my thing is, and I knew when Scott had, I went over there, and then I went, now that Tony Adair's taken over, and Tony has changed this place. Him and Chad Wilson, the track manager, they have really done a lot for that place. They've changed it up a little bit, trying to make it grow and be better. But just the difference, and it's nothing against Scott, but you can see the difference.
Oh, yeah.
And then like that's what I said when somebody asked me why. I get asked this every weekend, or any new person, do you really drive 2 hours to come to Cherokee to be track photographer?
Yes. The drive
Why?
is not even bad. Like, it goes by fast.
Unless you get traffic.
Well, yeah, for me, I just hop on 85. I go all the way down. I don't even need to put it in my maps. I already know. I just put my music on and I just jam. But at Cherokee, I do the 50-50 tickets with my friend Jalen before the races, and then we go down for the Victory Lane pictures. There we're called the Gaffney Girls or the Cherokee Chicks. It's up in the air.
Got all types of nicknames.
Oh yeah. And then at Livonia, me and William haven't figured that one out yet. He said Lady Livonia. I don't. But there's nothing to like with an L, So I'm just kind of like the girl that walks around.
Girl, the girl.
So I just walk around,
just
talk
to
to
be the Victory
people.
Lane girl.
Yeah. I'm trying. I
Pretty
don't
much.
think there's a good
There's
person
not.
around.
But yeah, I got into that. It really came about because I'm signed with a modeling agency and I do a bunch of brand modeling, but I wanted something more tailored to the dirt track world. And I want to take it further, so I figured this would be a good step to start to get that experience, just being around it in that, like, I don't know how to say this, but like walking around with a full face of makeup and an outfit rather than just wearing like a t-shirt around the racetrack, like getting used to that feeling and taking all those pictures and talking. It gets really hot. It gets really hot. But just getting used to that because I want to take that further in my modeling career, I guess you could say. So I just needed a stepping stone to get some experience.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome. So I kind of want to talk about, do you have any other ventures outside like that you want to pursue in the future? I know you've been doing go-karts and stuff, but with this being your first year at Cherokee, are there any ideas or any things you want to do further than that to kind of up your game or to try different things, new things?
I have several, as I call my bucket list things to do with my photography, but I want to do like motocross some too. Just there's something about watching them when they make those jumps and those flips and different. I want to catch that, but I want to be able to do, if it's just one time. I'm trying to find a way to get into a Georgia football game and actually take pictures.
I know I can get you hooked up.
Okay,
I know somebody very well. He used to take pictures for the team when he was in college, and he said if I would have went to UGA, I could have done it. But I'm a Florida fan, so yeah. All right.
I know, right?
You're from Georgia?
Yeah, I'm from Georgia.
How did you get?
I got to root for a good team.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they've had good years here lately, but when I was born, that was the Tim Tebow era. So,
but yeah, that
and a little bit.
But I also when I went and got my new lens, I met a guy that's at Best Buy that does some photography on the side, and he's gotten a couple of magazines that's grabbed him. But he showed me he does like the drag racing and stuff.
See, I've always wanted to. If Commerce is still around, I'd probably do that. But unfortunately, they're not because
pretty much
big companies came and
pretty much anything racing, I definitely want to do. But like I said, I do want to do the football thing. I found out this past weekend that TR has the motocross track. I didn't know they had the motocross on Wednesday nights. I don't think it's in season right now. I think I heard him say they're not really doing so much.
I've got an opportunity. I'll have to keep you in mind. Guy that races like the side-by-side Polaris's, like those big things. He races them in those motocross, like makes jumps and stuff. Yes. And he's wanting me to come video for him. They travel and do it. So I have to keep you in mind. He said he wanted me to do both, and I was like, it's hard to do both. I can't video and take pictures.
No, you can't, because that's something I do want to do also is getting some videos going. I've done some reels, a few little reels. It's kind of hard to do reels, take pictures. And especially when you're track photography, you got to run to victory lane during the race. You can't go far. I mean, you can't go to the turn 3 or 4 and then try to run back to victory lane.
Oh, yeah.
and I don't have a four-wheel over there, so.
Yeah. Get you a pit bike.
That's what somebody said.
Well, that's okay. Nikolai, did you hear him on the last podcast? He's going to get in a stockade again. I told him he needed to have his camera out the window while he's racing.
Yeah, while he's racing. There you go. Well, see, I wasn't going to put this out there, but I guess I will. So one of my goals also eventually is to get, I know there was a guy doing it for a little while around here, they're coming around here, but I want to get some GoPros and put in the cars of some of the drivers, and I want to do pick one driver each week and just kind of highlight them on my page, just do their in-car plus their pictures for each class, each week. So that's one of my goals.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. I just want to keep
I'll have to give you some
the race.
recommendations on cheap but good cameras.
Okay.
I use $60. Can't beat it.
No, you can't beat that.
No. Because when they break,
expensive.
you don't feel them.
No. But yeah, it's expensive though.
It is. It adds up quick. That's especially if you do photography, you realize really quick when you're with cameras that it just.
It's as expensive as the racing.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand.
No,
now, I could go on a whole tangent about that, but I'm not going to. I've got a lot of people that don't like me, but it's okay. I'm a nice person.
That's what,
I don't know you that well, but
well, I
you
am
seem
too. But you get people, I try to, and the way I look at it with my pictures too, I also try to keep my prices below everybody because I know racing is expensive. I don't get paid except for what people buy. That a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then when you drive 2 hours there and 2 hours home, gas, or like, 2 weekends ago, we had that whole weekend I stayed over there. So, because that drive back forth, plus squeezed the wedding in. I literally stayed Friday night, shots, stayed up, went to the motel, back up Saturday morning, drove back to Georgia, done a wedding, drove back to Cherokee for rain out, and then had to do pictures Sunday.
That's a mess.
So yes, people don't understand that it's costly, and that's why I try to cut my prices as much. But they just still don't understand.
I drive 30, 40 minutes, which that's not that bad. Not compared to 2 hours, but don't get paid anything, and then everybody expects me to do all this, and I'm like, none of it's going to me. I invested in bigger equipment. When I started the subscription service, I made a lot of enemies. I started to smooth things over with some people, but some still do not like me. But text me when they're races. They're like, hey, can you send me the race? I'm like, yeah, if you subscribe.
Right. Oh, yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, my thing is too, like I said, people ask me, about making that drive and well, why aren't you charging more? Well, I'm not out here trying to get rich off of it. It's because I love it and I love racing.
Exactly.
I love what I do. Now, like I said, now that my kids are out and I'm doing my own thing, it has been the most peace, especially since last August. Things were just, things have been rough. And I started going also, I guess me and Nicola have a lot in common. So I started going to the point about a year before that. And around August last year, my car was tore up, breakup, there was just a lot of things going on. And I just was in church one night on Tuesday night, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I knew I'd gotten baptized when I was a kid, but don't remember it. So I went and got baptized, and since then, it's just taken off.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I know what you mean. I messed up quite a fair share. I got arrested 3 years ago, and now I'm a youth pastor.
There you go. Good.
Things have changed a lot.
My only thing right now is that I don't get to be at church as much now, being track photographer. Because by the time you get home on some of these races at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it's so hard to get home.
I know what you mean.
It's so hard.
There will be times when I'll show up cracking dawn back home, but I just do it and then take a nap after. But it's hard some days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I do also want to talk to you, Aliyah, about kind of what your plans are for the future when it comes to, I know you just talked about your company, but other than that, kind of things you want to branch out and start doing, and where you want to take your modeling career as well.
You ask all the hard questions. Honestly, it could go so many different ways. If you would have asked me 3-4 years ago, where I'd be right now, I definitely would not have said anything about a dirt track, honestly. I would have said, I'll be graduating college, with my nursing degree or whatever. And needless to say, that is definitely not what happened. But I'm thankful for it because even though it's brought a lot of, heartbreak and enemies and whatnot, it's also brought a bunch of friends and family that I never thought I would have. So I'm grateful for it. I kind of already went over the company and the future for that, just building up the inventory. As far as the modeling goes, I'm signed with an agency and I travel doing that every now and then when they have events. I'll be in Tennessee this weekend. I've booked 2 events for next month already. So I just kind of do that here and there. It's really good money and it just kind of gets me some exposure. As far as the racetrack modeling, I don't want to put it out there because I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just going to say I have a plan that is in the works that I'm hoping that will, come through for me. I've just been kind of laying back, haven't told anybody really, just praying about it. And if it's meant to be, it'll happen. So
there you go. That's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. I also do want to talk to you I want to get y'all's favorite, which I'm assuming you probably got a lot to go through since I've just started learning about you. What has been one of your favorite dirt track memories?
Honestly, they're all pretty good. Some of the best ones are gonna be, of course, if my dad wins the race. Probably one of my favorite races that he won was at Livonia, and there was a super race there that night, and it was the one that was on TV. I want to say it was the World of Outlaws, maybe like 2 years ago. That was one of the best races I've seen him race, one of my favorites. As far as for the company, I would say the first time I went to Toccoa, we just had hats. That's all we had made. We didn't have apparel yet or anything. And we weren't planning on really, selling a bunch. We just kind of took them to see what people thought about them. And so I think we had at that time about 50 made. So we took 25 into the track, sold every single one of them.
Wow.
So we went back into the car. We were like, okay, do we want to go ahead and try to sell what we have here? Or just, wait, because we were going to post our online store that week. So we kind of wanted to have some for that, but also if you could sell them, sell them. So we ended up selling all of them.
That's
that
awesome.
One race at Toccoa. And that was just such a shock because we didn't know how people would react to it. And people loved it. So I'll never forget that one.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that boosted your confidence a lot when it came to the business too. It made you feel like, yeah, I can do this.
And you don't realize sometimes how many people you have supporting you. Even if you don't talk to them every day, or you never talked to them before. How many people are supporting you from the sidelines and want you to succeed? You may have all these enemies that want to see your downfall, but you have so many more people rooting for you than you could ever imagine, and it's so great to see that, especially the racetrack.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I know what you mean. I'm sure you did too.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I probably a month ago I made shirts and I had so many people reach out to me about it, and I was like,
yeah.
And it was just my company shirts, and I was like, it's pretty cool that people want to support me.
No, yeah.
But yeah, and that's there's been 3 or 4 people that have won, and they wore my shirt, and I'm like, it's cool.
Great, yeah.
I ain't gonna do no apparel, but I do company shirts because I'm like, well, it's free advertisement.
Yeah. It is. As far as my favorite, as far as the dirt cars, my favorite was I got to go do the Dirt Bristol the first year. I think it was the first year. That was one of them. And then going to Eldor last year for the very first time, because I remember as a kid, I used to tell my daddy, I want to go to Eldor. Never got to go.
Well, it's so bad.
And I went, as a fan, and got to see, of course, Davenport, one of my favorites, win. So that was awesome. But on the go-kart side of it, so like I said, I follow a young lady, Skylar Wiley. Her grandfather was Spur Wiley. And I do all her go-kart pictures, and they have a whole team. And she had moved up a class, and I just really got to know her, like I said, the first of last year, end of last year. And when she moved up this year to her class, we didn't want that win. Well, when I found out I was going to be track photographer, I was going to have to step away from the go-kart so that I had to tell her, I think it's been a few weeks now, I had to tell her that day that I was going to be stepping away. And, it was kind of a sad moment. Everybody was kind of down a little bit. But I went up and got the flag that night on the flag stand. And I was up there flagging, and I set for her race, and I seen that she was going to win. I jumped off the flag stand, went running, and to be there for that moment was like the best moment because, I was walking away for the time being, but we had built such a bond and such a friendship, and watching her win, me and her dad both was in tears, and it was just a great moment to be a part of that. And to see them, because they're supporting me so much, they're wanting to put my logo on the trailer.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, so that's in the works. Daniel, of course, has redone my logo, and hopefully I'll get some more stickers out along. But yeah, that's, and kind of like what Aliyah was saying, getting that respect, because you do make enemies.
Yes.
Especially being also a female too, in any of it, any part of the racing part of it. But getting the respect I did 2 weeks ago after becoming track photographer with the series that was there, the lady photographer, she come up first thing and she was like, "Hey, I don't want to step on no toes. I want to introduce myself." And just having that respect was great. And then having one of the other guys there that day that he had shot there before many years ago or whatever, and he come up and was helping me and talking with me. So that, just having that kind of respect, that means a lot. And then having people say, "Oh, your work's great." Nikolai, when I showed Nikolai when I went to Tacoma that night, and I showed him my camera, he's like, "What? You're taking pictures with that?"
That's what I told him. We went and looked at your Facebook page, and I was like, "Dang."
Thank you. That means a lot because I am very critical of my own work. I want everything to be perfect. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I'll send some of the girls a go-kart picture or something. I'm like, thing, or I'll get my kids to come look. But when you have somebody like that, or another photographer that actually says, "Hey, that's pretty good," then you're like, okay. Because there's still so much room to learn.
Oh yeah.
No matter what, because everything changes, and I know I'm not the best, but I also try to make my pictures a little bit different. And I'm not knocking nobody's work, but I want mine to be that live in moment. Like I want those little imperfections a little bit. I don't want to
make it seem too perfect.
Yeah, not too. I don't like too edited. And I had a girl that races over at Cherokee. That's what she said she liked about my work, was that it wasn't edited so much.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. And I even had a mom. When you have a mom come up, she's like, "Thank you so much for taking pictures," because she supports her 2 boys in go-karts, so she's always taking pictures. So when I caught all these pictures of her and her kids, and they were just random shots. I was just catching them in that moment. She loved it. She's like, nobody ever catches me with my boys doing that. So, when you get those kind of compliments and see people really do like your work.
Oh, that was one of the coolest parts. I was at Tacoma one night, and I had this little kid. I was wearing one of my Candid Capture shirts. This little kid runs up to me and is like, "Oh my gosh, are you Candid Capture?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I watch your videos every night." And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool."
It is cool.
Yeah, so it's very rewarding.
It is
That's one thing. That's probably one thing I'll never forget, was having him run up to me, because he was like so excited to meet me. And I was like, but it was really neat. And back to what you were saying, I was happy to be able to get both of y'all on, because I do feel like a lot of women are underappreciated in the dirt track community, because for all the drivers out there that are guys, a lot of them couldn't do it without their wives, because it's a hard task to be a significant other of a dirt track driver. But it's a lot to ask, and y'all are always there supporting in the background, and y'all do a lot of things that are underappreciated. So I was glad to be able to try to give y'all a moment to kind of highlight yourselves and all that. But I do also want to go back. I know you said you've been a lot of places. What has been the coolest place you've been so far?
Definitely Eldora. I was actually there July, for the Sprint Car Million race, and that was the first time I had ever seen sprint cars, and that was one heck of a place to see them for the first time. So I was there actually modeling for Hercules tires, and we got done, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon before everything even started. So we had the pit passes, so we just hung out. And Eldora is just, it's like its own little world. I don't know if you've ever been. Sorry. Okay. So
I'll edit it together. It'll mesh right now.
So I was showing them around. We went through the love tunnel where you can go under the track. We had the toilet bowl drinks. And just hung out and watched the sprint cars.
What? Toilet bowl drink.
So if you've never been to Eldora, it's their signature drink, and I honestly couldn't tell you what's in it. A bunch of little different alcohols. I want to say there's something blue in it. I don't know. It's like blue, green, and then they put a Tootsie Roll in there. So that's just when you go, just
ask for one.
Ask for one. They won't look at you crazy, I promise. But we had those, and sprint cars. I didn't think I would like them because I always like lake models, but those things are wicked cool.
It's scary when they crash.
They're so fast, but it's kind of not cool. But they could flip over, be upside down, and they just roll them right back over, and they'll keep going.
Were you at Livonia for the sprint car race this last time?
Yes.
When that one went into the fence?
Yes, I was. I was there. I was there because the whole fence was like leaning over the track. It took them forever to get that close.
I was watching, that guy hurt. And he just popped out just fine. And I was like, hey, man, your car is in the fence.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, I went to Cherokee when they were there this year, but they said, that was the week I was somewhere else. I think the go-kart track, but they said it actually went over turn 1 and 2, just went over the fence. I mean, and that's up that bank, and it went up over into the, pits up there.
Well, when they came to Toccoa, I knew with those banks, I was like, this is not going to be good. Somebody's going to wreck. And that was one of the cleanest races I've ever seen.
Wow. I know, I didn't hear anything.
It was awesome. There's this 14-year-old girl, she placed second.
Wow. They say she is awesome.
She is awesome. I mean, she can drive.
They said watch her.
That's scary though. I don't know. Just going that fast and something like that, and you're so exposed, which I've talked to people that race them, and they said that is one of the safest vehicles, or like dirt track cars you can drive, is a sprint car. They said that cage is.
I mean, I'm sure it has to be. It's small as it is. Like, I don't know. But are you going to Eldora this year?
I'm going to try. We've got a plan, me and some other buddies that we're going to go to Phoenix City.
Okay, yeah.
So, but they like Phoenix City for more than dirt track.
That's next month, ain't it?
I don't know. We got a lot of trips planned. We're going to Tybee Island the week after next. Just
must be nice.
Nice.
But we're leaving on Friday afternoon, going Saturday, and coming back Sunday.
Oh, well.
It's literally just a little weekend trip. Just trying to
get away.
That's a good place.
Well, just doing things now because I'm got time. So, but it is this. There's a lot of places that I would like to go. It'd be fun to just kind of go to different tracks and see. Unless, who knows, maybe get hooked up with one of them. But did you see where Jonathan Davenport won in the truck series?
No, not the truck series.
Or the SRX?
Oh, the SRX. Yes. Okay. Yes, I did. Yes. And, I had gotten on their comments. A friend of ours that does some stuff over at Cherokee with us sometimes, he had posted, who's got so-and-so and who you think's one of the better drivers right now. And I put Davenport. Well, this man got on there and was like real rude. He's like, what, are you even watching dirt cars? And I'm like, yeah. And then when Davenport won, I was like, yeah, that's my man. And he won.
No comment.
Yeah, he's good.
He is good. And he's a nice person. I met him 4 years ago at Talladega and walked up, and it was actually in the race. By then they're tired. They're ready to go. But he came up, talked, took a picture, just talked with us for a few minutes, just as nice. I met his son. His son was so cute. He's like, my daddy's Davenport. He was so cute, though. But yeah, I mean, he's a really nice person to meet.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. I bet it was kind of starstruck meeting him too.
Yeah, it kind of was because I've watched him for so long. It was nice to get to meet him.
That's like when Jimmy Owens was at. I thought it was so cool just getting to see him there racing. I was like,
well, and the thing too with your female, and it's hard to go up and meet because the wives or the girlfriends are going to get mad at you, and you don't never know. So I got the nerve 2 weeks ago when Ross Bills was at Cherokee to go up and introduce myself to him. I didn't want to because I don't know. I think he's a cool driver. He's just very humble. He's very cool. And so I got to go up and introduce myself to him finally, and that was pretty cool because he's just nice. He's just like, oh, you're truck photographer now? And I'm like, yeah. So,
you see, that's what mine and Nikolai's planned. We had our business cards, but Jimmy Owens stayed in his trailer until it was time to race, and he was like, watch this, we're going to give Jimmy Owens our business cards.
Right.
But it never happened. He stayed in his trailer until it was time to race. It was kind of sad.
I don't think I've seen him. I was in another race. I don't think not much.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I understand.
I would love. So when I dated this one guy, we had this running thing, and it was just a joke. But he really took it serious. I always said I didn't like Brandon Overton because he liked him so much, and he would go, just going back and forth on the rivalry. Everybody kept telling me I needed to meet. So now I want to. And of course, he ain't been back to Cherokee. I was there when he got in that fight with Madden at Cherokee.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't get to meet him that night. But they say he is very nice and very cool to actually talk to.
There's a lot of them that I'd like to meet. I know Ricky Thornton. I'd like to meet him. He's just because of his success right now. He's doing awesome.
He is really good.
It's pretty cool to see Colton sponsoring him.
Yep.
So they're doing big things. What has been, go back to you, Aliyah. Sorry. What has been one of the most difficult things about dirt track for you personally? Like, whether it's driving, whatever it may be.
That is such a loaded question. Well, I'll start with driving. So my dad, when he got into it, he wanted me and my brother to kind of get into it too. So he owns a junkyard, so he is buying cars all the time. So he found some, and my uncle has a welding business, so it was just like little front wheel drive cars, and he put a cage in it. Me and my brother would strip everything out the car. That was our little summer thing. And needless to say, I went through 3 cars in one season. So my first car, it was, I want to say this was either 2020 or 2021. It was like one of the first races at Livonia. It was a 2-day show. I was racing that first day. Dad was racing the next day. And I had like an old police car. So it had, the little thing and everything. He got a wrap on it. It was nice.
Oh,
it was real
right.
nice.
You're the stuff.
And so I get out there for, I think it was hot laps or something. And that thing was it was like driving a boat, and I had never done nothing like that. And I was over here like this, And so I just remember coming down the front stretch, and I don't know, there used to be that big mud pile right there, down at the bottom. I hit that sucker, and it spun me, and I almost hit the wall, but I hit the brakes, and I kid you not, I was facing the wall, and when I looked to my right, there was a car like right here. Well, I get back in the pits, and everyone's making fun of me because when I did that, there was somebody, that was before they built the new Victory Lane, so they had the little thing out there. Well, there's a bunch of people standing there. Mm-hmm. So when I hit that mud, it just splattered all across those people.
Oh, man.
And I seen the guy walk around. He just had mud all up and down him. So I go out for the race. I'm doing decent. It's probably about halfway, close to the end. Well, I'm coming off turn 4, loose as a goose, of course, and I actually have the video, but I don't know if the guy behind me he barely tapped me, barely. Next thing I know, I go boom into the front stretch wall, and then I shoot back across the track and almost get hit again.
I gotta see that.
It was bad. I was bleeding down my chin, I had bruises all, and of course, my dad's over there laughing. He's just laughing. And, everyone else is like, is she okay? Let me go check on her. And Dad's just over there tackling. And I'm like, wow.
You're going to hop into a late model next is what I'm hearing.
Okay, so actually, I have been begging my dad. So we have the open wheel modified. And my brother drove it a few times at Tacoma. But he's about to leave to go to college for baseball. He leaves tomorrow. And so he's not going to be home. So we're going to have the open wheel car, and Dad has a 602 and a 604, being put together. And Dad said, he was like, if I win Saturday, then I'm going to focus on the 604, and Brady, which is my brother, can drive the 602. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I was like, what about the other one over there? So I would like to at least just get in it and try to drive it. Not that I would want to race it, but just to say.
I'll hook you up. I'll put in-car cameras, everything. That way we'll get that.
You're going to need it. Can you put a little microphone too? Because you're going to want to hear everything. Okay, because I like to talk to myself.
Well, see, that's, who was it? Brady Cornett. He said that he announces while he's in there. He's like, he said one day I could be an announcer. He said, I'll announce what's happening on the track while I'm driving. Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'd probably be singing or something while I'm driving, just jamming out in my head while I'm driving.
I'd be talking to myself.
Yeah, you just
That's one
kind
of
of
my goals. Is to get
you talk to yourself.
See, I'm done from driving. Okay, sorry.
You talk to yourself, and then you're kind of like talking to the other drivers. You know, like I don't know. It's just I went through 3 cars, but the second car it had some electrical issues, but
I was like, she's just rough on them.
I actually we were talking about this last night actually. I was at dinner with my grandparents, my brother, and everything. And so me and my brother were racing against each other there for a little bit, and they always bring this up every time. And they make fun of me because they say it was hot lap, but it was actually hot lap qualifying. So I was trying to get it. And me and my brother went out right behind each other. And I just knew it wasn't going to be good. And so we were coming off turn 2, and I was trying to pass him like on the outside. Well, he didn't know I was there, so I guess it was both of our faults. I guess it was my fault. I don't know. But I was trying to pass him, and he came up on me. I hit him like in the perfect spot because I watched him. It was like slow motion. His car turned. He hit head on that backstretch wall. It went shooting back across the track. And I kid you not, it was slow motion. His head was like, and I'm sitting there laughing. So, but I qualified 5th. So,
Hey, that's good. What'd you finish?
I don't know. I think 3rd or 5th.
Hey, that's not bad.
So that was about my best finish.
I'm excited to see you in a late model. That'll be. But, what has been for you some of your less difficult moments? Well, do you have any more when it comes to other than driving? Because I know she's gonna start off with driving.
Yeah.
I already didn't ever think she'd drive before. I was talking about like driving to the tracks.
Oh.
And then I'm learning all types
I'm
of
just
things.
full of surprises.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
telling you, like, no, driving to the tracks, haven't had any problem with that, so we're good there. It's just driving on the tracks. Issues, I don't know. I guess it's like the whole stepping on toes thing, kind of being like cautious of who's around you, and kind of like reading people, because some people aren't as friendly, I guess, or welcoming.
Open,
so yeah, it's open. So you kind of just learn, you just kind of have to read people. But I guess the hardest thing is just there's a lot of drama at the racetrack, and when I tell you, like, something spreads like wildfire, like that. Like, you wouldn't think people know things about you, and then you have some random stranger come up to you and start talking to you and telling you all these things you didn't, and you're kind of like, who are you? Like, how do you know that? But I guess that would just be the hardest thing is trying to keep up. Not trying to keep up, but like, people try to bring you down or call you names and, just try to, because they see that people kind of like you and they don't like that, so they try to just
tear you down.
And I'm just one of those people, I'm like my dad, like, I really don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but
and that's how you gotta be.
Yeah, like, you can say whatever you want to me, and yeah, it might hurt me a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do. So I just kind of try to let it go over my head and move on.
There you go. That's the only way to be. And I think you learn that when you get older. It's like just when I was in high school and all that, I was always trying to impress everybody. Yes.
Like, you try to
like I was doing
everybody.
whatever it took, and then when I hit 21, I was like,
and you have to learn it, because if you try to sit there and please everybody and make everybody like you and everybody happy, in the end you're just going to lose yourself, and you're not going to be the person that you want to be. So
it's like a proud mom.
That is. I'm over here giving life advice, I feel like, but I mean it's so true. There's so
but
much.
I learned it late.
Hey,
yeah,
it's okay. At least you're learning.
Yes, I mean, and I agree. Like I said, that's my thing too. Is stepping on toes and making it, especially if you're a single female. Also, the drama really starts.
The drama
starts. But I always wanted to be, a people person, please people, but photography also I was real shy, so it kind of brought me out. Yeah. So then it's like once you come out, and it's like all of a sudden everybody starts getting mad at you. So you're like, okay, what do I do? And I cannot stand to have drama. cannot stand for anybody to be mad. But I've learned, if I'm going to make myself happy, I've just got to do me and not. And Leah knows I've had some drama issues a lot
We all
lately,
have.
but we'll talk about it. And at the end of the day, you just gotta let it go over.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm learning
And
that.
it helps to have somebody to talk to.
But the biggest thing is somebody comes to me and says, I can't do it. There's a whole other side. Then I get mad, and then I'm pushed to do it harder. So if somebody wants to make me do something, tell me I can't do it.
We actually had a conversation. It was me, you, and Daniel, because I was sitting there and I told him, I was like, I was at a point where I didn't want to go to the racetrack anymore because I didn't want to deal with the drama. I didn't want to deal with the girls, saying bad things about me. Or I'm not going to lie, I have a lot of guy friends because I don't like girl drama. Right. And people see that as something else. So that I was so done with it. I didn't want to do it anymore. And I talked to them about it, and they, going back to what you said, the haters kind of drive you to do better and be better. And in the long run, whatever makes you happy, you just kind of have to block it out because it does get hard.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I read this quote earlier today, and it was so I was going to send it to you because it was so. And they said Mark Wahlberg said this: God never gives you a dream that matches your budget. He's checking your bank account. He's not checking your bank account. He's checking your faith. And I was like, that's at a perfect time because, like I said, Leah knows I've been through some drama recently with all this. But, and the only thing is it makes it hard, especially when you do come to a track that you fall in love so much and you fall in love with the people and the fans. Like I said, the fans over there at Cherokee are absolutely amazing. I walked out on the track for a driver interview. The fans and the kids, I was standing in turn 4 2 weeks ago when we had the big show. And it hot that Sunday, and I was like, just dying. And these kids and these parents are like, hey, will you take a picture of our kids? The kids come run to the fence and they're waving, they want their picture taken.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. Or random people like, hey, where you been this week? And I'm like,
who are you?
Yeah. But it's just they all love to talk to you and stuff like that. And then, like I said, but when you go there and then all of a sudden you feel like the drama has started and you're like, this don't even feel like home anymore. Because I've had a few of them actually try to talk me into moving over there, and I've considered it because my kids were out, and it would be nicer to change the pace. I've done the whole story, doing the whole merchandise when we talked with Daniel. I guess Daniel's our consultant too, not just.
So you might know, I don't know, David Thomas. He started After Hours Designs. It's not technically open. I don't think it's open yet, but he still does orders and everything. But they open a storefront, and it's in downtown Toccoa, and they're rebuilding the inside and everything. But that's who I use for a lot of my stuff. And then I've brought a lot of business to him, and he's helped me with my designs and just making stuff here and there, samples and whatnot. So I'm very thankful that he messaged me on Facebook that one random day and was like, hey, you want to work together? And I was like, sure. Somebody local that I could have that trust and relationship with. It's been really nice.
That's awesome. I do want to talk about, too, I saw where recently you have started to sponsor people.
Yes.
How's that going so far?
So when I posted that about sponsoring people, I was just going to do a handful, 5 max. And the amount of people that reached out to me, it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I told my dad, I was like, my phone is blowing up. I had to start writing people's names down. There was almost 50 drivers that had reached out to me. And not even just from Georgia. The surrounding states, but some Wisconsin, far out. And I was kind of like,
that's
oh
awesome.
My gosh. So I want to be able to help everybody, because I would love to get my name out there, but at the same time, it's hard because you have to kind of pick and choose, see what you're financially able to do and everything like that. So I've kind of worked it out with some drivers where basically they just want to put my business on their car. They're not necessarily looking for money. And I told them, if that's what you want to do, I can send you some apparel here and there, maybe 1 or 2 items every couple of months, something like that, just to, but
Yeah, that's what I've done with. I'll do in-car cameras for people that I'm on their car because I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, like it's hard to just dish
I ain't
out
big
money.
business. Yeah, I ain't big money like that. I can't.
But it's crazy to see, like I said, going back, how many people you have supporting you that you would never know were there.
I've had a lot of drivers too, especially since I've become a track photographer over there. I had a couple of the younger guys that told his name, one young man, and then another one from Livonia. They've all asked, and I wish I could help sponsor, but right now I'm just not where I could. Yeah. And I would love to be able to do that one day. I'd love to be able to help sponsors. And my thing too, even with the go-karts, I try to find those young people that push them. That don't get all that because they don't have a lot of the money. I'm a sucker for helping the underdog there.
There you go. Hey, somebody's got to. I do want to talk about just kind of stuff I'd relate with. What has been the hardest part that you've learned when it comes to photographing the vehicle?
Having the right lighting, having the right lens, the right flash, and the right lighting
You gotta have the pyramid working together.
Yes, if you don't have that pyramid and you don't have all that together, it's horrible. But I have watched. If you look at my beginning stuff, especially with the go-karts, to what I've gotten here recently, with this new lens and the flash, it's a big difference. I'm still learning because there's so many spots at Cherokee. It's what's funny is most of them you want the light. There's one spot at Cherokee
where you don't want the light.
There's one spot in turn 2. I can take better shots with that light that keeps flickering on and off and going off than I can when I have the light. It is, I don't know why, because, like I said, I worked with the other photographer there before, and he was showing me with the flash and on the light. I'd get used to that, and then I went over and started working in turn 2 so much, and it's like, wait a minute. And then when I figured out I could take better ones than that, but yeah, it's getting that right, learning that whole triangle. And I'm still learning that.
It's difficult.
Much.
Especially a vlog.
We played around with the camera though that night. Both of us.
So actually, William Richard, who he goes back and forth with Cherokee and Livonia too. So me and him talk a lot too, But he has let me not take over, but I'm starting to help with the TikTok for Livonia. So I'm trying to. I haven't posted anything, but I want to get more ideas to post on there because TikTok is such a huge platform now.
It is. It's crazy.
Like Cherokee's TikTok is sorry.
I saw
I'm
the
sorry.
one the other day.
Cherokee's TikTok is it's really good. He gets a lot of views, and I want that for Livonia too. So I'm trying to.
I saw the one he was doing the different types of announcers.
Yes, he's done that one. The different types of fans.
Have you seen him with the blonde dude? We tried.
Will is hilarious. He will be big time one day.
Yeah.
I really do see
And the sweetest person.
He is. He's so nice.
Will is great to work with. That's what I'm saying. Like she said, the staff over there at Cherokee is
something. Okay.
There's
the ghost.
The staff over there is some of the best you can work with. I mean, they're all really, really good. But yeah, Will, he is so funny because he'll do those videos, but he'll do them when nobody's around, And it's but they're really good. I mean, he's got a great personality for that. He really does.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I'm just like, what's part of Leah's vlog when she starts coming out with
Her
them?
vlog.
You could do good at all the places you go and stuff. You could make entertaining vlogs. You could set you up a little GoPro and you're going on the trips. and you're jamming out in the car.
I was about to say, it would just be me singing my lungs out to some I go back and forth between country, rap, rock.
That's what I do on my way to Cherokee every Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I have to do it on the way home still.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me. I'll turn on Eminem or something when I'm on the way home from the track late at night. Something that I can't fall asleep.
Somebody had called me one night. I was real tight to the track. And they called me as I was on my way home. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Are you okay?" And I've had the radio blasting the windows all day. And I was like, "Hold on a minute." Roll the windows up, turn the music up. I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to stay awake." But yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. There's some ways where you got to roll all the windows down to get the cool air. You got to do whatever you can.
It's cool though, because you can kind of gather your thoughts, especially I don't know about you, but I kind of get my thoughts together for what I want to do when I get to Cherokee. Mm-hmm. And then here's a wheel comes up. Well, where are you going to shoot? And then I'm the whole thing just goes away.
That's
going home. All I'm thinking about my bed.
Well, that too, yes.
I'm
okay. Well, this past weekend when I was at Livonia, I didn't do the victory lane stuff because my dad has only raced. That was his third time racing this year. Every time he's raced, something's been wrong with the car, broken shock, had to get the motor fixed, everything. And if you have seen me at the racetrack when my dad is racing, I'm like, I'm in my own world. Like, I literally walk, like, I follow him around the racetrack when he's racing. Like, I physically, like, walk in circles, like, just don't talk to me. I'll be jumping up and down, like, screaming. And I knew that race was going to be interesting because of different things going on at the time. So I just wanted that to be my focus. And I had taken my camera so I could get content for, like, William, just taking pictures to post on Facebook, or I had so many TikTok ideas on the way down there. But as soon as I got there, it's like you get there and it all just either goes out of your head or you don't feel, like for me, I don't feel comfortable enough doing some of those things.
I don't see how, I can't, like, some of these people on TikTok, I can't see how they do the stuff they do. Like, I'd be so embarrassed.
Well, it's just like going back to the whole, I don't want it to seem like I'm dissing Livonia or anything, but like Cherokee's so welcoming and I feel like I could just do like whatever, you know, like do those crazy TikToks. But at Livonia, like, you know, like I would love to do TikToks where I go up to drivers and, you know, ask them questions.
Or like what we
you know,
did.
things like that. I feel like I couldn't do that.
You would do good at that. Like, have you seen, there's this little girl that interviews drivers?
I think
I cannot remember her name, but she goes up, she's like, you gonna do good on the race this week? And then she'll give like 2 response. She's like, good. It's so funny.
I would love to do stuff like
Well,
that.
we've done something similar, remember, for the Sunday race in Cherokee. They were doing the drivers, you know, introduction, had them all up on the wall. So our whole thing was we had to get that picture, and then Leah thought, well, let's walk. What was it? They done the drivers all, and then they walked back to their car.
Because the microphone wouldn't reach all the way down, so they had the drivers, like, they would introduce them, and then the driver would walk to their car instead of doing it in front of each of their cars.
So Leah came out with the idea, let's just walk down. So we walked down, and I took pictures of them, like, getting in the car, or their girlfriends or wives standing beside them, and done some helmet shots, just different. That really blew up. A lot of people like that, that I'd done those pictures like that, and then Leah was with me. But then, you know, like, talking about being welcome at Cherokee, we went out, I told Leah, come on. Those drivers were so hot that Sunday. I don't know if you remember how hot it was that day, 2 weeks ago, that Sunday. It was
like
so
the gates or the race started at 12. Like everything started up at 12. Like middle of the day,
100 degrees.
Like I sweat through my shirt. I had to change. I'm not kidding you. Like it was hot.
That's why I bring extra clothes too. But I was so miserable. I didn't even feel like changing.
I got a mate. I just stand in one. I got me a chair. I just sit until it's time for me to do my
We don't
thing.
get to do that, yeah. But we decided whenever they had that halfway point for them to do their tire change and whatnot, the drivers were so hot. You could tell they were hot. Because I seen one guy earlier during the hot laps, he got sick. So I told Leah, come on, we grabbed waters and took to the driver's. I asked him, was it okay? And they was like, yeah. And some people, and then one poor fella, he's like, yes, I'll take a cold one. Somebody gave me my hot water to drink. So, you know, there's things like that you can just go and do and you feel more comfortable at Cherokee. Which when we tried to do that one time, remember at Livonia, we tried to walk down between the cars.
We kid you not. So we walked. William was out there.
Walking between
the cars.
The cars were out on the track, like, you know, just sitting there. And we were gonna walk through, take pictures. I was gonna get a video for the TikTok. As soon as we get up out there, they start moving towards us. I'm like, oh crap! I was like, I don't know.
So yeah, it's not that warm feeling, but also there's a sense of safety there. Like I said, trying to Heidi's son, Blake, I think it's Blake, that does photography. He used to be for Cherokee, H3, I think it is.
Sure.
So I was doing that TikTok that Sunday, and I was literally standing right there in turn 1 on the track at the wall. And they started out, and he's like, moving across me to come back. He's like, I got you. Because I would literally, and they've all made fun of me at Livonia. I was down at Livonia sometimes because I would be up on the back of the carts and I'll be jumping up and down. I actually fell and thought I broke my leg. I hit my shin because the driver of the cart decided he was going to start taking off as I was stepping on the wheel. But yeah, they made fun of me because I'm brave enough to get up there. And then like Shan that does Cherokee, she does turn 1. She's like, I wish they'd made that wall out for y'all because y'all scare me standing right there.
Well, so that's like when Flo was at Tacoma. I about busted my butt getting off the motor grader.
I don't know how y'all were up there.
It's kind of sketchy. and I jumped. Well, I was jumping up from one part onto the other, and I about slipped. And I was like, and they were just they were sitting waiting to start, so it was aiming right where I would have been at. And I was like, oh my goodness,
It's so funny because I didn't know it, but the other photographer sent me a message. He said, "Are you at Toccoa?" Yeah, how you know? He sends me a picture of me standing on the motor grader.
It's hard to get up there.
It is very hard to get up there, but then I got stood on that wall right there. Couldn't see nothing there because I'm short. I had to finally get me on that trailer that I was up on. But yeah, I mean, it's just the only thing I wish they didn't have. I know that for the safety they have to have that fence, but I wish when I was there they didn't, because it's so hard. Like when Nikolai was telling me, it's so hard to get shots now because you only have a few shots. And poor Nikolai, I had to kind of stand behind him just when I was getting those
You
few
talking
shots.
about with the little plexiglass he had built?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he got him a little piece of plexiglass when the sprint cars came, and he was shooting behind it to keep on.
Good idea. I've been trying. I told Nikolai because he got so excited about the Supers at Tuesday night being there. He said it was the first time. I told him, I said, you need to come to Cherokee one weekend. So we need to get both of y'all over there. I don't have a problem.
I'm telling you, if you come to Cherokee, like, you're gonna want to come back.
I want to go.
Anybody over
It's
there.
like,
I want to go.
As long as you don't get my victory lane during the regular races. Now, series is different.
Yeah.
That's my only thing. You know, there's a lot of about stepping on toes.
I'll come and watch. I ain't got a video.
No,
I
want you to come video. I want you to come get some video there at Cherokee. They won't care, and I don't care.
September 3rd. It's on Sunday. It's gonna be the super.
I was gonna ask
Carolina
Nikolai
Clash,
actually. I was gonna invite him.
I don't know. I'll be there. Livonia races that Friday for the front, and then Cherokee
I think
Sunday.
they set up at 4 or something like that. But that'd be a good one for y'all to come. I'll tell you. If y'all let me know, I'll tell them that. I think you would enjoy getting some video of that place. There's something about that track.
See, I got my drone too. I'll hook them up if they let me come.
And if you can get me
You
a
need to make a
drone
TikTok with them drone videos, because I'm telling you, that's the kind of videos and content I want to get at Livonia. I want like the nitty gritty, up in their face, up in the all the stuff going on.
If I ever come to Livonia, I'll help you out. I ain't scared to talk to
you
people.
you should come Friday, September 1st. I'll be
come over
there.
to Cherokee on the 3rd.
Yeah, we can ride together.
There we go.
There we go. That'll work out.
But yeah, I do want to talk about too, just kind of back to talking about all the different tracks. What has been your favorite track you've ever went to? Just gotten to experience, not even that you've worked at, just in general, like you were just like, wow, this track is amazing. It could be a local track.
I mean, honestly, like, especially this year, I haven't really been to many tracks, just Cherokee and Livonia. Last year, Dad ran that 602 series, so I traveled some with him, but it was more, South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina. I went to Alltech this past December to stay with a friend, and her boyfriend was racing. It was a big super race, and I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Before this goes any further, I just want to make it known that I love.
She loves Cherokee.
I love Livonia and I love Cherokee. I love both. I have nothing against either track. I just want to make it known because I feel like people are going to say that I don't like Livonia after watching this or something. So it's fine. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, I like both. I just.
Well, I'm glad you like Cherokee.
Me too.
I honestly never thought that I would end up there.
And I'll be missing
How did you end up there?
Okay.
Was it through?
It was actually through William. So me and William had talked about me coming to work at Livonia, mainly to help with like the marketing, because the TikTok, social media, everything, and that's how we kind of got on the conversation of, the Victory Lane girl just kind of being like a pretty face, to post or whatever. And I told him I just kind of wanted to do it to have that experience for my future plans. And then he actually brought me the idea of coming to Cherokee, because he announces at both tracks. And he was like, well, hey, like, Cherokee would be a really good track for you to do this at. Let me talk to Tony. And the same day, it was like that. I had Livonia and Cherokee, and I was like,
oh, that's cool.
Wow.
And I was excited when I found out she was coming. So.
Well, that's awesome. Wish you. I'm glad you like both of them.
I do.
It's
And I try to be even with it, with both tracks, you know. Like Livonia has some big races and Cherokee has big races, and I try to hit them both when I can, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But is there anything y'all want to talk about before we close out? Do y'all have anything else y'all want to share?
I think so. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would like to thank everybody that's supported me this far, and even the haters, you encouraged me, so that's always nice. But just especially Daniel and Takoa for helping me with everything. I want to give you a shout out, and William for always just talking to me and, you know, getting me these jobs and everything, and you just keeping me sane, you know, all the time.
we
And
feed off each other.
yeah, we do. We bounce it off each other, and, you know, my parents and grandparents and just everybody. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be here doing this. So.
It helps having a support system.
It
really
does.
And you can plug your businesses as well. You can let everybody know where to find you.
Oh, so I have a TikTok. It's not really, has like 2 videos. So I'm just, if you want to follow, that's great. My main source of like posting or whatever is my Facebook, and it's just High Octane Racing Apparel. If you follow my personal page, I usually repost everything, so you can find it there as well. I have an Instagram. I post the same thing on Instagram and Facebook. The website is linked in the bio of both. So.
And I'll put it down in the bio for everybody. Y'all can go buy your merch. And she's actually got a shirt on right now.
This one is actually not on the website because it's new. It's one of my little sample things that I'm just getting some feedback on. So
I like it.
I have it.
She has it.
It reminds, it's like an 80s thing.
Yeah, that's what I like, the 80s, like,
Yes.
retro, like, neon.
I wish I could have been more in the 80s.
Me.
It would have been so much fun.
But I want to say the same thing like Leah. I want to thank everybody that's helped me. Mid-East, like I said, is the one. Mike Willard, and Brittany and Jason Laws. They're the ones that kind of got me started. Like I said, I do a lot of work with them. But I do my Cherokee stuff, and then I only do with them there at Cherokee, which I could travel if I was available still. But then I do the go-karts. And a lot of the go-karts were my big support getting started, too. A lot of those, I mean, you wouldn't believe how supportive they are. Of course, Aliyah for helping me find Daniel, and of course Daniel for being our big consultant and designer.
He's like the almost like your dad.
Dad, yeah.
Like, he not only helps you with your business, you know, and that sort of thing, but like just your personal life. Like, you can tell
And
me
Megan has helped me too. I've talked to her a lot too, just asking questions about pricing and how, because she had florists, you know, the business, so she kind of done the wedding, the florist, because pricing on anything other than racing is hard. So, you know, it's like I said, in Aliyah, we've bounced off each other and helped each other. There's been a few other people. Charles Head's helped me a little bit. He's supported me, had me on his show. And so, you know, and like she said, the haters, because they do push you. They do push you. Not really wrong. They gonna hate you.
She might remember. You remember the vine with the little spoons?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, and then of course mine's CC Action Photography. I do TikTok. I do mainly my Facebook, which I have my personal and my business one. And then I've started doing reels. Some of my things I've done, and I learned this from my kids in school. I don't know if y'all done it, where they had like a focus board or some kind of little board where you put to keep you kind of,
what's it called?
what are those called?
Vision
Vision
board.
board, yes.
Yeah.
So I made one of those because, like I said, I was really getting down in the beginning. And when people make comments on my page, I will take and print those comments out and I stick them on my board. And I go back and look at those comments. Like I have this whole board full of comments of just what people said, like that mom I was talking about.
That's pretty cool.
It is something
idea.
I will look at it along with my Bible verse that I have up there. I will that my son wrote and done for me. I look at that and I look at that vision board and I'm like, this is why I keep doing it, because I love when you get those comments, or like the girl's talking about. Her best friend told me, she's like, Skylar can tell you where you're at every time. Now she's driving this go-kart, you know, and she can tell you every week where I was standing and taking her picture. every morning. Because she even see me on the play stand. I wouldn't tell her I was going to be on the play stand for her race. She see me and she had that arm just to pump it up, and we were so excited. So yeah, it's neat like that. Or when you have the little kids that come running up, hey, you gonna, or sending you messages like last Saturday. One of the guys that hadn't been in a while, he's like, "Are you gonna be there this weekend?" No, I'm kind of Cherokee now.
Well,
so
and that's what I've noticed is like if I ever miss a race, like because I really didn't realize how much people supported me. I miss a race, I'll get 20, 30 people and they're like, "Hey, you get the race this weekend?" Yada yada yada. And I'm like, "No, dang, I didn't know it was that big of a deal when I missed."
I've had people do that at Cherokee. Just fans be like, they'll send me a picture of like, if Jalen does it with, someone else that fills in for me, they'll send me a picture and be like, "This ain't you. Like, where you at?" And I'm like,
Or yeah, now that they know, know that they'll be like, "Well, where's Aliyah this week?" I don't know. She's at one of the other tracks.
somewhere.
She'll be back.
She's a busy woman. Yeah. Sounds like, and that's a good thing. It's good to see you're having success.
Yeah.
And I hope it goes a long way for you. And like you, I hope the photography takes off and you achieve a lot. I'm glad I got to have y'all on. It's been awesome.
One thing. I would also like to thank Livonia and Cherokee Speedway.
Yes.
For everything.
I have to thank Cherokee. I mean, too, like I said, Tony and especially their track manager, Chad Wilson, he has been a big part of me getting this too. So yeah, they're really great people. They've backed me. It's been nice.
Well, that's awesome. Like I say, I'm glad to have y'all on. It's good to try to. I wanted to try to highlight more than just drivers, and then it's good to have anybody, photographers, people that do apparel or that are spokespeople, anything. It's awesome to get y'all on here and just kind of talk about your business and what you do. And I wish y'all both the most success. I want to thank Mike's Wholesale Flooring once again for sponsoring the podcast. Couldn't do it without them. Stay tuned. We're working on some other sponsors. We got some cool ideas. But y'all take care, and we will see y'all on the next episode.